All right, hey, how's it going today? Just gonna walk you through some of the stuff that's going on in the garage today, some of the projects I'm working on, some stuff that's on hold, and some stuff that I'm gonna be starting. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, this is the first one right here. This is a 91 Ford Mustang GT. I had to pull the motor out of this. Just got recently divorced, and the wife was taking the convertible that I had, and she wanted it back to stock. So this motor in this car was a stock engine. I took the motor out of the red convertible she had. It is over there. We'll walk through that in a little bit. It is modified. The bottom end stock, but all the other stuff is, it's got a lot of modified stuff on it, like heads, cam, intake, all that stuff. So this is where the car is at right now. I have a complete set of Cobra wheels for it. There's some there, and then there's some over there, and I have two other sets of wheels. I haven't decided which ones I'm going to put on there. I have a set of bullet wheels, maybe for daily driving and stuff, and I'll use the other ones for autocross or something like that. And then I have these I picked up. These are off of a 06, I believe, Mustang. And I'm not really sure which ones I like. There's the Cobra wheels. They kind of stick out quite a bit, the Cobra wheels do. I got it to where they'll tuck just a little bit, and it's up in the air right now, but it's got lowering springs on it. It still sits kind of high. There's the engines out. I did some other mods on this thing too while I was at it. One is a 94 to 2004 power steering rack, and I did that because it's got a better ratio, and it also it's supposed to be a better feel when you're steering, and it's got the bump steer kit on it also. The steering shaft is missing, you'll notice. That's because I have one on order from Maximum Motorsports, and they are not sure when their supplier is going to have one ready to ship out. So then there's that. That's what I'm on the hold for right now. Otherwise, I'd had the motor in this thing already. Also looking above that, there's no brake booster vacuum one. It's got the Hydro Boost. I'd converted that over as well. I was going to use the factory pump off the Fox body for the power steering, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and make a bracket for the 04 one to stick on there from the Hydro Boost. And we'll see how that goes. It's got a new clutch cable because it was an automatic car and now it's a manual car. I'm still going to retain the air conditioning. Let's see what else do I have underneath here. That's pretty much it for this. See, it's got caster camber plates on it, and it also has Cobra brakes. It's got stock struts and SVE lowering springs on it. I updated the headlights. It had one-piece headlights on it when I got it, and I had to get rid of those. They were just too much. But you see so I like the look of these wheels. They're just not that, the tires aren't that wide, and the rims aren't either. Those are 9.5 wide wheels in the back, and I have the same ones for the front, so it's a square setup with brand new Cooper tires on it, the Xeon. Overall, it's a really nice car. It also had at one time the crap LED taillights, which I switched out to the LX style ones. If it would have had the cheese graters on it, I would have probably kept them, but it didn't. One of my tailpipes sticks out further on this side than that side, so I'll have to address that at some point in time. And some of the only place that looks like it might have some rust is around here where the wing is. I'll go back and fix that. And then these things, which I was told I cannot get these anywhere, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to fix that one. The doors have dents in them. I don't know if you can see it from here. This one's not terrible. It's got a couple of dents in the side there. The other side is way worse. It's got a few dents on the roof. Looks like somebody had something laying across there as well. Nothing in the quarters. There you can see the dents on this one. It's pretty bad. And then there's a dent in this fender as well. Good thing is I have another project over there that will not be using its doors or its fenders. I'm gonna go to fiberglass on that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. This one I don't really care about the weight of the car because it's just a daily driver for the most part. And also in the back I have the Cobra brakes also, but I have a
So one caliper there, and then there's going to be another caliper on the other side. I have the dual caliper mounting bracket. I just need to get another caliper to put on there.
And I'm going to run a hydro drift brake because this is going to be like a weekend drift car. Maybe take it to a couple of events and stuff, see how it does. If it does all right, maybe I'll convert it all the way over. It's eventually going to get a Coyote motor, but currently it's just got a push rod motor, which we'll go over there and look at that now. So there's the radiator for it. It's all aluminum. I think it's SVE, maybe it's just a regular aftermarket, and it's got the Taurus fans on it. All right, here it is. Got a 3rd gen alternator. It's got Edelbrock E205 heads. I think revs really nice. It revs up really quick. It's got the Explorer upper lower, BBK shorty headers. And like I said, the bottom end stock, freshly rebuilt. It might have 200 miles on it since I rebuilt it. New rings, bearings, stock pistons. It's got 24-pound injectors instead of the 19s that they come with. One of my spark plug wires crapped out on me when I yanked it off. It didn't come off, and it's got they got the metal boots on them, and then these sleeves over top of them. Something to do with because it's a high port head. Because of the high port heads, they sit really close to these exhaust manifolds. So I had to put some kind of high heat sleeve over it. Stock fuel rails, nothing fancy there. It's an MSD coil and cap and rotor. Let's see what else. I think that's pretty much it. Royal Purple oil is what I was running. This is just regular vacuum boost stuff. That's pretty much it for this. Now I'm converting this over to a 5-speed. So I have a flywheel there, and this clutch, this spec clutch right here, is supposed to hold 800 horsepower. It didn't need it for this motor. Originally, I was going to make this a turbo motor. I still may later on. I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go with it. If I do, though, I'll probably swap the bottom end out for a 351 Windsor and put a stroker motor in it, short block, and then I'll take all this stuff that I already have, put it on there, except for the lower. The lower I'll have to get something else for the Windsor. There's my new bell housing, flex plate, the throw-out bearing, clutch fork. It's got a shifter knob in there along with all the bolts and everything. And then there's the 5-speed. This one is out of a 94. I had to change the input shaft sleeve there and the whole assembly. I took the transmission completely apart, put all new synchros and everything in it, and I put the beef up plate on the back of the case. You can't really see it because it's underneath the tail shaft cover, but it's supposed to strengthen the counter shaft so it doesn't push itself away, and that's the main problem these things have. It's got a triax steeder shifter in it right there, and I'm just anxious to get it in the car and put it all back together. I'm gonna go into the inside of the car and show you what else I've done. It's got tinted windows, and the steering column had to come out again because I originally put the pedal assembly in there. It's got the clutch pedal you see now, and it's got the Maximum Motorsports brake pedal for the Hydro Boost kit install, and I'll put all that stuff back together. It's good to go now. I also replaced all my plug ends on everything, including this one. This one was like kind of melted right here for the ignition. Everything's good now, and I have all the stuff that goes back in here, and these seats are 03 Cobra seats. I completely redid the interior, got a new headliner in it that I covered in vinyl. There's no black seats, got a rear seat delete. I think that was Scott Rod, if I'm not mistaken. Could have came from Maximum Motorsports either. I don't remember which one, but it was the regular polish or satin aluminum one, and I covered it with felt. But that's it for pretty much the inside. Everything was redone. I put new door locks, new ignition switch, all that stuff matches now, and nice stereo, aftermarket stuff. I think it's got Rockford Fosgate speakers all the way around, and a 5-channel amp, which is underneath the rear seat delete panel. I got the console out so I can do the shifter and everything else, which is actually over on the other side here. So it had a crack in it, and nobody really makes these parts anymore yet. So this piece right here is broken here, and that's where the push button goes for the trunk release. That's still going to be broken. There's nothing I can do about that. I patched this. I put a metal plate behind it, put some rivets in it, hold it in, and put some JB weld over top of it so it'll be stronger. And beefed up the other side that was cracked too. But yeah, so that's that. It's a lot stronger now, so it'll hold up. There's the power steering pump. It's going to go on there. That just bolts on there like that. And the lines, and then I have to do before I put the console in, I have to finish this up. So this needs to be welded here, and it has an adjustable cable on it now. The cable I had in there, it wasn't working with the brake. It would like pull the rear brakes and hold them, so I couldn't release it, and it was tearing up my rear calipers and or my pads and rotors in the back. So that's all fixed now. With that, I just got to weld it up. I have no real power out here. I'm just running the wall thing off an extension cord, and then everything pretty much off an extension cord for out here. It's all the stuff to put power out here. Got that, and then there's all the cable and stuff. I just have to dig the hole and move some dirt first before I do that. And then I'll be able to do all my welding and stuff out here. But that's it for this car. That covers pretty much everything on that. And I just lightly touch on this other stuff that's going on in here before I start doing what I'm going to do. This is my brother's trike. It's getting complete overhaul. I put the Hayabusa front end on it. It's going to have a chrome plated frame, and all the tins are going to be a candy apple red. We're not decided on what rear wheels we're going with yet. We might keep these on there, might not, I don't know. Tires look brand new, but they're all dry rotted from sitting. The seat and stuff for it up over there, you can see it. Mechanically, it's all together. I have to finish doing the wiring, and then I can blow it apart for paint and chrome. That's what that one is. This right here is my 66 Mustang coupe, or was a coupe, project car. This is a mid-engine roadster. I cut the roof off of it. I'm going to make it look nice and everything around there. But the motor is out of a 2000 Lincoln Continental. It was the same motor that they put in the 99 Cobra and the Mach 1, 03 Mach 1. It's a little bit lower on horsepower because it doesn't have the Mach 1 intake. I'm going to pick that up for it later. It's not going to have air conditioning or heater or anything in here. It's just going to be a roadster. All I want to hear is the engine running. It's going to have a turbo setup. It's going to be sitting in the trunk. I had to lock out the steering because this whole end here, the bracing and everything is all out of the front of the Lincoln, so that I would be able to drop the bottom of the motor out through the bottom of the car. Custom built my own floor pan. It's a double wall with ladder bracing inside of it, and then you can see the frame rails that go to the back because this car was originally unibody, but not anymore. I cut the dash out so I could mount a bar across and make it a little stronger and stiffer for the steering column and stuff. And if you look way down in there, you can kind of see through the glove box, there's an air tank. Well, that's for the air ride that's on here. Nice expensive setup. It's AccuAir, and the compressor is inside the tank. That's where they keep it. I don't know how that works with the humidity. I'm sure they've worked that out. The front end, which I can't really show you right now because all the stuff on the hood and stuff, is out of a 2005 Crown Victoria. So it's all the aluminum one like you see on Gas Monkey Garage where they put it on that pickup truck. Well, I stuck it on here on this Mustang. It makes it wider in the front. The wheels are all cambered out right now because the air's out of the bags. This is as low as it will go right now because of the way it's set up. The rear is there. It's like 7 inches in the rear. The tires poke out. This is as far in as I could get them to go with the wheel selection I had. I had to run a 1-inch spacer in the back to change the lug pattern because the Continental has the 4.5 lug pattern, or 4 1/4, and then the Mustang has the 4.5 pattern. So that's why those are sticking out a little bit further. I can't really go in any further with the wheel because it would hit the strut. I really can't show you that well. It's got caster camber plates in the back, so I can adjust those. Here you can kind of see get you down in there so you see the airbags and stuff. But the bag sits right up here.
and then the struts there. There's a custom strut built for this car. They didn't make them for the Lincoln Continental, so I had to have them custom build something. I get to call my measurements and everything and send it to them. I haven't aired it up yet because I don't have any wiring in this car at all. Probably should do that soon when I start working on this. There's a radiator for it, nice beefy one. I may have to run has a water pump on there, the factory one between the V there, but I may have to run a electric water pump, the Masur one, which is really expensive to be able to pump the water from the front to the back. I got to run all the stainless steel tubing down there. That's for the water system, for all the cooling, to run to the front to the back. I'm gonna run them right down the center there and then make myself a little console. There's a flat chassis bottom. It's completely flat on the bottom. I really can't show you that. I'll find a picture somewhere and maybe insert it when I go over this car again. But fuel tank's up front. That's where the pump's gonna be. That's pretty much it for this thing. It still needs a lot of work. It's got a long way to go. This is my last project that I'm finishing. This is my 2000 Harley Road King. I was riding it for a while, but it needs brakes and carb tuning and some other stuff. It was originally a fuel-injected bike, but then my uncle turned it into a carbureted bike. It's got a big, giant, massive S&S G-carb on it, which is probably overkill for that, but it's got an S&S Screaming Eagle heads and cams. It runs really good. It's fast. It's really fast for a Harley. And over there behind there, I have what's for the other project I'm going to show you. This is a torn down 460. Still has the pistons and stuff in the block along with the rods and stuff. I'm going to use some parts off of this, but not all of it. This is what's going in the car that I'm getting ready to show you. This is a 429. The heads are done. The pistons are done. It is a 429. I'd rather switch it over to the 460 bottom end so I get more cubic inches out of it, because this will be a turbo motor. I already have a big turbo for it. I was going to step it up for a bigger size. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this intake. I'm pretty sure I can't use this intake with these heads. I'm not going to use this piece. I'll make a plate or something for whatever intake I end up going with. This is an aluminum one, but it's a lot lighter than the cast iron one. I'd want to run aluminum heads on this motor, but let's see if I can find I can't find it. There they are. These are 68 VE-E heads. So they should be pretty good for what I want to do with them. They're cast iron, so they'll hold up to the heat from the turbos and stuff. Like I said, I'd rather run aluminum, but I'm not sure. There is a cam over there that came out of that 460, but I probably won't use it. I want to run especially a high lift, low duration turbo cam on this. It really worked out on that other motor I built for the other car. It revs really, really good and flows a bunch of air. I still have a lot to do with this one. This one does not have a cam in it, so I'll have to put a turbo cam in there. But this is the motor that's going in there, and then maybe the crank out of this. I'm not sure, because the only difference between the two of them for 429 and 460 is the crankshaft. I don't know if that's going to involve notching the block or anything, because the piston size is the same, or the holes are the same for the pistons, but the rods are the same exactly, but the pistons might be different too. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I can use the 460 pistons along with the crankshaft. Look like most of the parts are all there. It's got the damper and everything in there, and the distributor and all that stuff. So I have enough to piece a motor together, which is what my plan is. And then I'm going to put it in this project, which is what you're going to see. Now, this is a 1993 4-cylinder automatic coupe. I have done a lot to it already, and I have continued to do a lot more to it. So I cut the front end from the shock towers forward. That saved me 70 pounds. Weighed everything out. There's a chromoly tubing, or it wasn't chromoly tubing. I was going to put chromoly on here, but then I would have to TIG weld it. I didn't have a TIG welder at the time, but I do now. Made it the front end stuff myself, because the kits were $600. I think I paid $100 for all the materials to do this. It may have been less than that.
and then I welded all that up. And I'm gonna make a thing where I'm gonna cut this tube right here, cut it here, and on the other side, and I'm gonna put these things in there where we can unbolt this. So the center section will be able to come out. So it'll be easier to get the motor in and out. And then I gotta make the brackets for the radiator and stuff. If I'm gonna mount it in the front, I'm not really sure yet where I'm gonna put that. But yeah, that saves 70 pounds. The K member was out of the red car, the convertible. It didn't need to be there because it wasn't racing or anything. And like I said, she wanted it back to stock. So instead of putting it in the white car over there, which is heavy because I have undercoating and all that stuff inside to make it quiet, so it's a nice driver, I decided to use this for the race car. So this is the K member setup for a 302, but I'm gonna make mounts, custom solid mounts for the 460, and it'll attach to the whatever this is set for the 302. And right above it, I have a manual steering rack that's gonna go in there. I have a kit, which I cannot find right now, to make this a manual brake car and get rid of the booster. So I have more room in the engine compartment for the 460. And then I'll get rid of that brake distribution thing because I'm gonna have a adjustable valve for that, which is on that car. And I'll have one for this one also. I gotta cover up all the firewall holes. The only thing it's gonna pretty much need is a throttle cable. It's gonna be an automatic car because it's faster. It'll shift faster than I can ever shift it. I'm not sure what transmission I'm gonna go with yet, but this is the steering. Before I got rid of the rag joint off the end of it. I just have to put this on there, weld it where it needs to go, and then that'll be ready for the manual steering. I have 2 more brake master cylinders in there that are going to replace this one because this one was for the 4-cylinder setup. I have coilover suspension. Now this suspension, these struts and shocks were the most garbage suspension I ever bought. These were on the convertible, and no matter what I did, it seemed like one side, the spring rate was different than the other side, and it just wasn't good for that. It'll work fine for this. I may have to upgrade the springs because they might not be set up for the weight, but it was very, very, very stiff on the convertible. So convertible is a heavy car. This is going to be heavy in the front end because of the motor. I've taken a lot of weight out of this thing already, but it's got a fiberglass hood. I'm going to run fiberglass fenders, probably run the stock front end piece, which is over there in the corner. I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm going to run Lexan windows in the car, and I'm going to run fiberglass doors. So these doors, which are in really good shape, there's no dents in them at all, and they're a year newer. They have power motors and stuff in them. I'm not going to bother taking those out because I'm just going to test them, make sure they work. And then these will probably go on that white car over there because I do not feel like messing with all the body work on those doors. That one door is really jacked up. So I'll use these. These are, like I said, dent-free, rust-free, and I can just push all the stuff from that, the new seals and everything, in these doors, and just do them one at a time and take my time doing it. Like I said, this is going to get Lexan doors, or Lexan windows and fiberglass doors. I already priced them out. They're like $500 for the pair of the doors. That'll be a lot lighter because these doors with the glass in them weigh 70 pounds with the electric motors and the glass stuff. Even if you gut it and you take the windows out and you run Lexan and you get rid of the motors and you cut all this shit right here out around the thing and then make it open and then take the door bar out, they're still 30 pounds. Fiberglass doors are 10 pounds. So it saves a lot of weight, and that'll just be better for drag racing. All right, the other thing I did, these seats, this driver's seat was already, well, the seats were in the car, just tossed in here. One had a bracket, one did not. I went ahead and found the other bracket online from Jegs. I bought that and put that in there, so I have 2 seats. They don't really weigh anything. It's like less than 10 pounds for the bracket and the seat. So I'm gonna leave 2 seats in here in case I wanna take somebody for a ride. My son's gonna be drag racing this with me. Hopefully he'll be out here with me when we start building this thing. I gutted everything out of the interior. I took it all out because when I got it, half the interior was gone anyway. It still had the carpet, and it had, which was nasty, and it had a dash in it, and that was pretty much about it. So I took all that shit out of there. It's got the automatic pedal set up, so it's perfect for what I need. That pedal assembly and everything looks fine. I don't think I'll get any more weight out of the front end like that than what's there. I'm going to patch up those holes in the firewall because I won't need them. That's set up for an automatic, so I don't have to worry about that. Probably take that
little bracket there behind the thing off. I still have yet to get that out of there. I took all the sound deadening stuff out of here. That saved an additional 30 pounds overall because I got all of it out everywhere. And I also cut out the back of the wheel wells because on top up here I have a mini tub kit, and that'll take care of the rear end stuff. And if you can see underneath there, I have a Ford 9-inch ready to go in. Well, not ready, it needs some work, but I need to put disc brakes on it. But I have the center section for it. It's over there on the other side of the house. It's got, right now, I think I need to put gears in it because it has like 273 or something, or is it 355? I don't know, something like that in there. Has a ring and pinion there, but it's also got a Detroit True Track. I want to run a spool, and the axles and everything are the right length for this, but they're 31 spline, and I want to go 34 spline. It's just something really beefy that's going to hold up to any power I put to this, because that 460 is going to have a lot of torque, especially with the turbo, and I just need it to really hook. I have an 8.8 also. I'm cutting the brackets off of that to put them on this rear end so I can get it set in there like it's supposed to be. It's going to have the 4-link just like the Mustang did originally. So this thing had a 7.5-inch rear when I got it, and I just gutted all that stuff and trashed it. Should have saved some of it, but I didn't. Here's another shot of the back of the car. There's the coil springs and the setup and everything. It was the SVE suspension that I had on the convertible, and I'm gonna probably put it on this. I may not run the back stuff. I might run just some coilovers in the back. I may actually upgrade the suspension later on with some strange stuff and adjustables and everything. Like I said, there's no fuel tank. I cut out the floor because I need to put a fuel cell in there. I'm just gonna make a sheet metal floor for it out of aluminum or something that bolts in. That'll save me some more weight. So overall the car is going to be really, really light. I'm probably going to end up running a fiberglass trunk lid too. I might leave the metal one on there. It depends. Having the weight in the back end is not a bad thing. I'll probably leave the package tray too. Depends on how I do when I go put the cage in it. My goal with this car is to run 7 seconds at 150 miles an hour in the quarter. I wanted a very competitive 7-second car. This will be the fastest car I've ever built. That steering column, it was a factory one. I'm going to take that wheel off. There's a guy online, he did, Chris, I can't remember his last name. He completely took one apart and then gutted everything off of it. And the one from Maxim Motorsports is 7 pounds. So he got his down to 7 pounds. And all I have to do is put a Grant steering wheel or something like that on there, which I think I have one laying around. It's off the 66 over there. Don't need turn signals or anything. It's never going to be a street car. It's just a drag car. That's all I want it for. Never going to take it to any events. If I do, I got a car trailer and a truck to pull it with, so it'll just be a drag car, and that's it. And Arizona, you can use hand signals anyway, so you really don't need anything fancy for that. If you think this floor is strong, you would be wrong. This was dented in. Somebody used the, let's see if I can get it to flex. I don't know, it's really weak. It was dented in, and the other day I just put my foot in there to push it down and see how much effort it was going to take to straighten the floor out, and it took almost no effort at all. My foot just pushed it right out, and the dent was gone, and I'm like, oh wow. So I'm definitely going to put a full suspension in here, or not suspension, full cage. Like I said, it's got to be 7-second car, so I'm thinking 25.3 cage with the bracing around the head and everything, because I want it to be NHRA legal, so I can go to any event and not worry about getting kicked out for not having a cage or the correct cage, and then I'll get it certified. I'm probably going to go chromoly. I have a tubing bender, and I have a TIG welder now, so I can put that in there. The windows that are going to be hard to find are going to be these. They're going to be really expensive too. I might be able to make some out of carbon fiber and then maybe reuse these. I don't know, or I just make them out of Lexan and do the same thing. Figure that out later. But the car's pretty light overall. The engine's going to be the heaviest part of it. Doors close really nice too. Won't need mirrors. I'll probably leave them on there anyway for now, but it's a good car. Good, really, really strong platform to start with. Let's see, caster camber plates.
Those knuckles are off of spindles are off of a 96. So I needed a caster camber plates to be able to push them all the way in. But I think when I push them all the way in, I'll never be able to put too much negative camber in it because of that. But it's a drag car anyway, so it really shouldn't matter. I said the doors are near perfect. I think, does this one have a dent in it? I don't know. No, it's straight. The doors are really straight, so I'll definitely use those on the other car. But this will be a nice, badass coupe. The color I'm going to paint it will be Mystic Chrome. Always like that color on the cars. And when I yank all the windows and stuff out, and after I get everything mocked up to where everything's going to go, and have the motor set in it and everything, and the transmission and all that, then I'll blow it all apart, and then I'll do the body work. And there'll be videos along the way of everything. And there's my Cobra wheels, and then there's the Bullet wheels, and then there's those 2005 wheels. And then there's the fenders off the car, which actually are really good shape also. There's no dents in these either. These are also in really, really good shape. These did a little bit of Bondo work there. I'm not sure what they did, but there might have been a smite little ding or something. I don't feel it on the backside. So, oh, there's a little tiny dent there. Okay, so it's not a big deal. But the other ones are way worse than these. So these are really nice. I just need to be sanded and painted. So I'll have to do the body work on the 91 anyway, so this won't be a big deal. But there's these goofy one-piece headlights that nobody can stand. They'll be fine for the drag car until I replace them later on. But yeah, the car is good. It's coming along, and I'll be starting to work on this here pretty soon because I don't have all the parts for that. When I get all the parts for this, I'll continue the video on the 91 and until we get it all back together, and then that one will be done. So that's pretty much the update on everything. After all these projects are done, I know I got my hands full. Yeah, I'll start focusing on other things, like around the house and stuff. And then we'll start doing drag racing videos, maybe some drifting videos, more motorcycle rides, stuff like that. And then I'll be working on this and get this done too. And this will go to car shows and stuff. But it's going to be fast also. I'd like to put a handbrake in this and get some good power out of it. The problem is that transmission is not set up for more than 275 horsepower. So I'd have to have it built. I really don't know the weak point on it because it's a transaxle. And I'm pretty sure it's probably the input shaft or something where it's not gonna work right. But underneath the tray here, you can see it. It's yeah, it's not the strongest thing in the world. We'll figure it out. Motor ran good when it was in the Lincoln. I drove it for 6 months before I yanked it out and cut the car apart and junked the rest of it. But yeah, so it's a good running motor. And then I have a Holley Dominator X for the computer in this thing too. It's way overkill for this, and it may end up finding its way into the drag car, and I'll just put a regular Holley Dominator in here to control all the electronics and stuff. But yeah, and that's where everything's at. So, anything else I'm talking about? Oh, that right there, the side-by-side went to the ex-wife. She's going to collect that when she gets her new place. And the Bombardier DS650 here belongs to my son. A little father-son project. We're going to recoat it. It's got Halo FX paint on it. It needs the valve shimmed, and then it's going up for sale. And we don't do any much off-roading and stuff, so no need to keep it. All right, and that's everything.